Hi, and welcome to the PoliticIt podcast. My name is Representative Ryan Wilcox. I'm here today with our special guest, Jason Smith, Lindquist Mortuaries. And truth be told, before about 10 minutes ago, I didn't know Jason at all. So I'm excited to find out about half this stuff as you are. But in all seriousness, we have an opportunity here with this platform to highlight different people that are just doing really cool things. We understand that that's a privilege, and hopefully we can be worthy of spending some time with us today. But again, Jason, welcome to PoliticIt.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here, Ryan.
Yeah,
Thank
I understand this is a first for you as well.
Podcast first timer. Yes.
Hey, well, asking Jason a few questions about his life here. You Roy High School alum.
Go Royals.
Which, yes, tell him why you were excited, how I found that out.
So excited today. Roy High knocked off Timpview, the reigning champions in the 5A football. So Roy High plays for the state title next week.
That is freaking cool. So we have several Royals that have been on the podcast and are big fans, some fairly prominent ones that I know are going to watch this now because you're excited. But yeah, we're going to be rooting for you, of course. That's not that often that one of our teams gets into the state finals.
Yep.
Championship around the way, so we're excited for that to happen. Do you know where that's going to be played? Is that going to be up at the
Rice Eccles? Yeah,
it's going to be at Rice Eccles. What, next Friday?
Next Thursday.
Thursday.
I don't know the time, but
we'll figure it out.
We'll be there.
By the time this thing airs, we're going to put the time in the notes. And the nice thing about that too, a lot of times, at least when you're in high school, they let you get out of school.
Yes, they looking at the. I watched it on KSL, streamed it, and it looked like the majority of the students.
I'm pretty sure I have to be in Salt Lake on Thursday now.
Yeah,
so I may be there just to make sure. No, that's exciting. Roy High Royal, Weber State Wildcat.
Yes.
Went to Weber State. Is that where you met your spouse, or tell us?
I did.
A little about Jason at Weber State.
I did meet Melanie on a blind date at the Institute.
Cool.
Serving on a committee, and we met and dated for about 3 years, and lots of fun.
There's an ad for the Institute there. I think that's why those committees exist.
It really,
right?
It really is possible, and blind dates are really an okay thing.
So
She's put up with me for 28 years now.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, 28 years. I used to think that sounded like a long time, but I just realized I've been married for 25. So
it flies by. So
hey, and you have 5 kids?
Yes, we have 5 children, 3 girls, 2 boys.
Yeah.
Ages 25 down to our last high school student is a senior at Layton High this year. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask you a couple things. So we got the biography out of the way a little bit.
Yeah.
Why Lindquist? How did you end up at Lindquist Mortuaries?
Been with Lindquist for 18 years. And I had graduated from Weber State, worked for McDougall Funeral Homes in Taylorsville, Utah for 10 years, and had the opportunity, was asked to come up and explore the Lindquist organization, and did that a couple of times. First time I was not ready for a change. Second time I made a change. So over a couple of years, and just wanted the opportunity to grow in the funeral industry, and Lindquist being the at the time the oldest and largest mortuary in the state of Utah really interested me, and liked what Johnny Lindquist had put together, and the Lindquist family.
Yeah, I mean, Ogden, right? Obviously, we all know who the Lindquists are, especially if you care about baseball.
That's right. Go Raptors.
Like this podcast does, obviously. We're big fans of Johnny and all that he's invested in our hometown, right?
Yep.
Like I love that man forever. For that alone. Also some other good things. So we'll talk about some of that later, I suppose. But what was it about the culture that you found at Lindquist and that you wanted to be a part of? What did he build that made you want to be there?
Lindquist not only had started in 1867, but the culture of serving families and being the best at serving families in not only the community but across the country. Johnny does not shy away from basically telling you that he's the best and is know all. And I disagreed with that for a short time, and until I had a heart-to-heart conversation with him, and had the opportunity to kind of get a feel for who he is, and made the determination that this is an organization I want to be a part of, and be a part of for a long time.
What do you think that is that makes, it's one thing to say the best, but what does that mean? Like the best at serving families, what does that mean in practice?
We, in the organization, I am not a funeral director. I am responsible for all of the pre-arrangements and helping our teams meet with people and pre-plan 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ahead of time.
Great Western. And so straddled not only the mortuary side of the business, but also Great Western. And to dive into when Johnny started Great Western many years ago, just the attitude of creating products that were not only primarily for the consumer, and his attitude is if it's good for the consumer, it's good for the mortuary, it'll be good for us, the agent or the family service counselor that is selling that product, but always with the focus of not only the consumer, but the mortuary or the mortuary around the country that was going to represent that product, and also tying that back to having Great Western headquartered here in Ogden. Remember Johnny's father, John A. Lindquist, when I first started with the Lindquist organization, he brought me into his office and telling me about some of his World War II photos and some of the things that he'd been involved with putting together the Air Force Museum over in Roy. And some pictures. He had a picture of President Hinckley on his wall with he and President Hinckley together, but on his desk he had a placard like you would have a name plaque, but this says "I'm bullish on Ogden," and that has always been very important to the Lindquist family, that you support the local community, the local businesses, and that's through. Well, a lot of people have worked for Lindquist over the years.
Yep, through and through. Yep.
Yeah, I. It's easy for me to think of the baseball stuff with Johnny, but that was not my first experience, right? That was not my first experience with him. And, as we talk about, what kind of an influence an organization has over time, the history of that organization and why, that's one thing. But it ends up being that kind of personal experience that someone has. And frankly, what we're talking about is when you lose a loved one.
Yep.
When the worst case happens. What is it about that made you want to be a part, maybe not necessarily of Lindquist, or maybe it is, but about that moment that made you want to be a part of in people's lives?
Kind of two sides to that. On the mortuary side, when someone passes away, and we bring them into our care.
Yeah.
We call them the Lindquist 1000. And if you've ever met Johnny Lindquist, you know that he is a very
well dressed,
very well dressed, and a very particular man.
Yes.
And that we call his requests, things that are very important to him, also very important to the families, or what we call Lindquist 1000. And we probably more than 1,000, and I can't name them. Detail of doing anything you need to do to serve a family, care for a family, help create an experience for a family that they will be able to be the best experience that can be had after the loss of a loved one, to celebrate their life, to create the type of service experience that they will remember, and that it can be a positive experience at a very difficult time with that family. All the way from one of the things that is just popped into my head is we have grandfather clock, the Ogden Mortuary. It's making sure the grandfather clock is wound properly. The air, the doors, the way the casket is displayed, the pictures, the microphones, anything and everything is a big deal. And to turn to your coworker, your team member, and say, hey, if you're in charge of this service, tell me what's wrong. Tell me what do we need to correct here? That there's always something that we can find, and that's a big deal, and because you can't reverse that experience that a family has at that time.
It's a one-shot deal.
Yep.
Yeah, there's there are a lot of memories that are created over the years with those that we love, and I have so many tied to the Ogden Raptors, I can't even list them all. But all of that comes together in that moment when we lose someone that was there for those. And you're right, I can see that. Appreciate you being here again, and having this conversation. There's something that motivates all of us, and none of us want to think about this stuff ahead of time. It's just not fun topic matter, right? Think about losing those that we care about, and a little bit of planning and a lot of foresight goes into making sure that when we're faced with that, it is something that we can all not just get through, but it can be something of a launch point for us. So, I appreciate you being here to talk to us about it a little bit today. Ryan Wilcox here with PoliticIt. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back to PoliticIt. This is Ryan Wilcox here with my special guest today, Jason Smith. He's with Lindquist Mortuaries here in Ogden, and it's been fun to get to know him a little bit. We talked a little bit in the previous segment about what's special about this particular job, and sometimes I think I've had people tell me we're just coming out of Halloween, right? That it's what a morbid job that would be, to be around death all the time and that part of your life, and at the same time, some of the most beautiful experiences I've had in life have been around the death of a loved one. I don't know why this is coming to mind right now, but I used to kind of be a wedding singer. I used to sing a lot of
Gotcha.
a lot of Peter Cetera songs and daddy-daughter dances and kind of stuff. And then at one point, and I don't know if it's because I got older or what, but then I kind of turned into the funeral singer, right? Including like for the Speaker of the House.
There's a big difference there.
He's like, and one of the main differences for me in that moment, I think, was because of what was happening. The weddings were generally happy. They were like these cute songs and, kind of different kind of spirit. Everybody's celebrating. And the funerals, they were kind of celebrating, but everybody also was, one, sadder, right? A lot more tears. And two, a lot more open to spiritual feelings. A lot more open to, what God would think or say or want them to feel in that moment. And those seem to be a time when you could reach somebody that maybe you couldn't otherwise. We were more humble. A lot of reasons, I'm sure, why we're in those moments. But I can't imagine that being a career, right? Being around that all the time. Tell us about a time, and I have no idea what your answer is going to be. We have not prefaced whatever you're going to say.
Yeah.
But tell us about a time when, you, because of those moments, that you were able to make a difference or that made a difference for you.
A couple of things. I look back. I did not go to Weber State to go into the mortuary business. I went to Weber State, graduated in technical sales, and was getting married and wanted to go into the medical arena.
Uh-huh.
And I answered an ad. Do you like to work with people? Do you like to talk to people? Answered an ad and interviewed and went through the process of getting my licenses and what have you, and started selling funeral plans as a temporary, something temporary. While
college job.
Well, that's right. Well, I just graduated.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
just graduated. Yeah.
And I didn't see this as a career. But I started helping people plan out, take that burden off their family, and to plan out their end of life wishes, and to hear why they wanted to do that they wanted to do it as a couple so their kids didn't have to worry about it, so that each other didn't have to worry about it. And within 6 months, I came home, Melanie, and said, I'm here. This is it. I'm done interviewing for other positions. I love this. This is awesome to be able to help people put these things in place. You asked something that is meaningful. Helped hundreds and hundreds of families over the years put their arrangements in place, and have been able to watch hundreds of those be fulfilled as people have passed away and what have you. But one in particular, I met with a couple in West Valley 25 years ago with the last name of Magnuson, Rolf and Mary Magnuson. They were originally from Sweden, but they were working, sending a request for some information on pre-planning. I went over to their home, got to know them a little bit. Coming back to like the Lindquist 1000, Johnny wants us to know the name of their pet and everything about them, to get to know people and know who they are and what makes them tick. And spent some time with the Magnusons and became good friends with them, but put all their arrangements in place, their wishes, and we encourage people to update their wishes every few years, about every 5 years. And I got a phone call one day that they had retired and were going on a mission to Sweden. And
aren't the Lindquists from Sweden?
They are. The Lindquists are from Sweden too.
Like the original Lindquist family.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Nils Lindquist from Sweden, but this couple went on their mission. I said, congratulations. I want to make sure everything was in place before they left. And they called me when they got home. And Rolf, I went over to the house. He said, I have something for you. No idea what he's talking about. And he get over there, and he pulls out this rock, this piece of Swedish granite.
Okay.
that he had picked up over there, and he said, I want this under my pillow in my casket.
Oh my goodness.
And That was a first for me. Lots of things we've put in caskets before, but I'd never put a piece of Swedish granite in a casket. But took this back to the mortuary, taped it in his file with specific instructions of what to do and how to go about that. And Rolf passed away about 10 years ago, and was able to go down and pull that piece of Swedish granite out of his file and place that in his casket underneath the pillow to fulfill those wishes. And I don't know why, but that's powerful to me to be able to fulfill those wishes of people and to honor them and celebrate their lives, so that
I mean, as part of his, it became more than just his, heritage on paper.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's part of it for all of us. My wife's family is partially, from Sweden as well. She's very Scandinavian.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And, we've never had a chance to go there.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. Maybe someday we could do such a thing, but to have that heritage and then to be able to come back and serve a mission there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that meant something different to him.
It was powerful for him, yeah.
Did you tell the kids the story?
Yeah. I had the opportunity to step into the arrangement. The funeral director called me when he passed away and said, "Hey, thought you might want to know," and found out when they were coming in and went down and introduced myself and that's payday. Helping our all of our counselors. I tell them when they're visiting and meeting with families, we want to put together all of these individuals' arrangements and wishes so that whether they're fulfilled 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the road, that whoever opens that folder can recreate what those person's wishes were years
It's an opportunity
prior.
I don't think any of us would think about. We get warned about wills, like get your will done, right?
Yep.
All that stuff ahead of time. It's probably a more common part of the culture. But one of the most beautiful parts about that story with Rolf, I think, is it was a way for him, not just for himself, but for him to ensure that story was told.
Yes.
And to communicate, besides the fact that he was gone, to communicate with his loved ones there too, and make sure that they felt that connection.
Yeah, it was awesome. I'll never forget that. And there's lots and lots of those experiences. At Lindquist, we have thousands and thousands of prearrangements, not with pieces of rock in them, but lots of wishes that.
Well, it could be music, right? I mean, it's what they're planning.
Music, pictures,
what do you want to
videos,
do? What do you want this to be? That those that love you the most are going to hear and see and feel from you.
Yep.
Right. That really is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right. I know my parents have done that, and they talk about it. And somebody, I think, probably from your shop has been on them to update it on it fairly, right? It sounds like the 5-year thing. I'm pretty sure they're clients at this point. But I always thought that was kind of an odd thing, and just okay, that sounds terrible to plan your funeral, and I kind of get it now, I think.
And hearing you say that as a child, it's so common. I was on the phone with one of our counselors earlier today that this lady had called our counselor. She had told her kids what she had done, and her kids don't understand what their parent or parents have done for them until after the fact. They just don't understand it, the gift that they've given them. Over half of the families that we serve at Lindquist have taken that step to prearrange, and in that arrangement, I don't know if you've ever done that or not, but on a terrible day for most situations when a loved one passes away, the family comes in and makes those arrangements when when we're able to pull all of that and present that information and have all of those wishes
She left
out,
this for you.
and not to have them pull out a credit card or write a check for anything
That's incredible.
is awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for doing that. I think it in a lot of those cases it requires a counselor or a a funeral director to go into some dark moments with people.
Yep.
It's because it's not just the happy ones or where grandpa passed away at old age that you were kind of waiting for, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what you look for in somebody that you hire, that or qualities that you train that are important to you to make sure that moment happens properly.
So, in our funeral directors, we're looking for someone that has a kind, soft heart, someone that can lead and direct a family and explain options in celebrating and planning a meaningful service. We're looking for those types of individuals, both men and women. We have 3 female funeral directors, which the funeral industry for many years has been very male dominated, but our female funeral directors are awesome, and so we're looking for that type of person for that role. The family service counselor for those pre-planning. I'm looking for somebody that's very detail-oriented, very goal-driven, very willing to take no for an answer, because getting someone to sit down and talk about end-of-life wishes, you can't show me anybody that's jumping to do that, and so that person has to be very driven to be able to talk with someone and help them to understand, hey, this isn't about you. This is about taking this burden off your family, and that takes a special person. We've got an awesome team that most of them have been a part of our organization for many years, and they're family.
You ever hire somebody or have somebody come in that was a former client? And I don't mean the ones that had passed away. I mean, they come in, they see what you do, and then they decide they want to be part of it. Yeah,
well, particular one of our awesome counselors, Karina. She became part of our organization about 10 years ago when her husband died unexpectedly, and he had just pulled off going for a ride on his motorcycle and pulled off at a rest stop and passed away under a tree, just taking a little nap, and,
oh my goodness,
and died, and traumatic for her. But through that process, a few months after he had passed away, she came to us and said, I feel driven to
I want to be
a part of the organization, the Lindquist organization. So, yep.
Yeah, I mean, you see that, right? Like in regular life, people make decisions for a lot of reasons, and one of those is definitely born out of trauma, often, right? And I think of those who I work with at the domestic violence shelter, right? And in that space, more often than not, they've dealt with some pretty scary stuff. And they're super passionate now about helping others,
which is great. Yeah. And probably fantastic at their job.
Yeah, it's beautiful to watch, actually, that happen. Lindquist has been around for a long time in all sorts of ways in our community, and I'd like everyone to understand a little bit about exactly what that means. Like, what is that? So we understand what Lindquist 1000 means. inside a little bit more, right? Inside the organization, detail oriented, making sure that we're really going the extra mile to serve those that are here. But what does that look like in the community?
Wow. Growing up in Roy, I always knew the Lindquist name and had gone to the Lindquist Pops concert at Weber State, and have been able to be a part of seeing that tradition of giving back to the community continue on. I'm attending Weber State. The Lindquist family is very, very pro education and have given a lot to not only Weber State but Ogden School District, Weber School District, Davis School District, the arts and humanities. It's awesome. It is. That's primarily Johnny Lindquist now leading the organization, and it's just, it makes me proud to represent who I represent, and the opportunities that I'm afforded in doing that. I'm proud to go around the community and serve on boards and what have you, because of who the Lindquist family is and what they've done for this community.
I mean, it's I don't think anybody really has a depth of the history between all of that, but it's over decades. Right? Generations of families that have been here. We have, and I happen to be wearing my Ogden School Foundation jacket right now. But I get to serve with Johnny. Always supports us, of course. Suzanne serves on our board and has been super active. The entire family has been wonderful to work with over the years with the school foundation, and of course Lindquist Hall now, Weber State. Right? Like if I were to be in that old building that I took my political science classes in, couldn't handle it anymore. So we replaced it, and Johnny stepped up to make sure we could.
It's awesome. I was there that day.
Were you?
And just one of those moments that you're proud to be a Utahn. You're proud to be here in this community, and I'm proud to work for such a fantastic organization. I have one of those bricks in my office from that day.
That's awesome.
It's hearing you talk about that. One thing also that Johnny Lindquist announced last year to Lindquist employees that means a lot to me is any employee of Lindquist Mortuaries and Cemeteries, their children and grandchildren, their tuition is paid for at Weber State University.
No way.
Any amount of education that Weber State offers.
No way.
Awesome. So that's Johnny Lindquist.
That's incredible.
Yep. So I know. It's awesome.
That's way beyond what I would even hope for from an employer.
Yeah, he set up a scholarship fund with President Mortensen and made that announcement last year. And
I've had trouble with employers like paying me for reimbursement that they promise for tuition.
It is just it's powerful, and that's
incredible,
awesome.
Jason. What an awesome gift. I mean, what else is that? That's incredible. I think that's really the magic of, and we're headed into the holidays, right? Like it's really the magic of Ogden. It's the magic of these communities that we serve. Yes, we have problems. We know that.
Yep.
We see those. We deal with them just like everybody else in the country does. And we have some really incredible people here who go out of their way to make sure that they're part of the solution.
And that's what you see that, and that will have effect in this community and this country for years to come, in families, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here today. We're so proud to have you here, and even little things. It wasn't just the naming rights to the Raptors. Oh, that was awesome. That was kind of. But if everybody remembers, that was the very first step in Ogden toward the rebuild, the revitalization of the entire thing. I've joked on the podcast before, and everybody kind of knows at this point if you've been watching. But our first date was at the Raptors down in the River Bottoms. My wife and I in 1996.
That's
right.
awesome.
So we didn't have a stadium. We're down at Serge Simmons. We're kind of faking the minor league baseball professional thing here as we were building. But as that was done and Lindquist Field took shape, everything else around there finally was visible. Right. People started to buy into what we were doing. And, after that first date, there wasn't anywhere we could go. The only place there was to go was a couple strip clubs and bars, right, on 25th Street. There was nowhere to go after the game was over to go get something to eat or anything. And
look at it now. Look, it is
that's where my kids asked to go for their birthdays.
Hangout. It's so fun. A fun evening at the ball game, a fun evening downtown Ogden. It's fantastic.
It was the catalyst, and when Major League Baseball kind of hosed over the Raptors and the Pioneer League. I'm saying that in a very nice way on camera. With all of that during the 2020 cycle, Johnny, of course, stepped up again with we needed another sponsor for the team. And so they wear the Lindquist patch.
Yep.
Right, on the uniforms. But that's not my favorite part. My favorite part of all of this, Weber State thing is pretty cool. But my favorite part of all of this is when there are 2 outs and 2 strikes. And Johnny gets on the mic and says, "Deuces," and I can't quite do it the way he does it. Dang it, I tried.
It's awesome.
Dave let me try once in the booth, and I kind of faked it.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, in fact, till fairly recently, last couple of years, I didn't know that wasn't a recording of Johnny. That was actually him every time live doing that, and that's one of my favorite sounds in the world. So for nothing else, thank you, Mr. Lindquist. For Deuces at the Ballpark. And Ryan Wilcox here with Jason Smith with Lindquist Mortuaries and our PoliticIt podcast. A little bit different. We didn't really talk about much politics today. That's okay. We're grateful for all the members of our community that contribute and work so hard behind the scenes. And we're going to do our part to kind of highlight some of those stories and leave you with something positive to think about. Anything else you want to add?
Thank you, Ryan. It's been fun to be with you. And
yeah, you too.
I'm okay with my first experience with this.
Yeah, there you go. You got through it.
There we go.
Okay, again, Ryan Wilcox with PoliticIt. We'll see you next time.